Hey guys, we are the NRL Fantasy Gurus. Welcome to Fantasy HQ for round 11 of NRL Fantasy. To your left is Red from Emma's FG. To your right is Mitch from Mitch's Lads FG. And in the middle, Alex from Goose FG. Or as you probably hear them say all the time, Herms.
Yeah, sorry, that's me. I do it all the time.
Tell them my nickname, no big deal. We had another big week of NRL Fantasy. We'll start it off, like always, with the player of the week. Mitch, who was it?
This week it was Kalen Ponga. He had a massive game. I think he's one of the highest in NRL Fantasy, so I think everyone lucked out this week with him. 2 tries, 2 line breaks, 9 tackle breaks, 109 run meters, 62 kick meters, added up to 87 fantasy points. And a solid week.
He's killing it. 87, like, we've seen some monster scores, and you know, it's surprising to see them under 90 again.
Yeah.
I know, we're always getting those close to hungies. Wall Street, right?
Oh, wait, we're going straight.
Yeah, this is
like... Don't we like preface it with everyone's favourite segment, and I have to say everyone's the only segment, and...
But then we always
do like
the hand
thing, and yeah, alright. Anywho, welcome to... No, that's the wrap up.
See, this is why I just thought we'd start it, because I was just going to screw it up
Anyway, so welcome to Wall Street, everyone, where we talk buys, sells, buy beware, or pump the brakes. And for the last couple of weeks, we've actually had to start with sells because someone screwed up. But this week, apparently we went okay. Who knew we actually knew what we were talking about?
I'm still shocked.
We actually had to look back and be like, did we screw up?
Did we?
No.
And we had to like literally go, okay, but anyway, we got it. So we get to start with buyers for once. That's exciting. And we're going to start with Mitch. Who are you buying?
This week I really like Ash Taylor. Started really slow this season, but over the last 3 weeks his average is 48. He's only got a break even of 7 this week. Plays the first bow round, got there.
We all got the mumbles today.
And his price is, you know, for a half of his calibre, only 436,000. So it's a good option if you're looking to trade someone out for that. Bit of money there, gotta make money.
You know what? I hate my halves right now. So I'm kind of looking for a half. I have to play Cardi in the halves. Oh,
What's
God.
party over?
Well, Cardi hasn't been too bad.
It hasn't been too bad. No. You just want to go home from this party. You just want it to end already.
Is there no hot chicks?
There's no hot chicks. There's chips. There's dip. There's no good food.
Rough. I actually really like this pick. Not that I don't love talking about Cardi Party, but let's talk about Mitch's buy. I actually really like this because you sat on it last week.
I did.
And you really wanted to get it out there, and you went against it. And Ash Taylor, and I think the last 3 weeks stat is really important because that's kind of where he's actually come to life. He had that really poor game, where he was an absolute passenger. I think he touched the ball twice in the second half of that game. And then since then, he's come out of the blocks fire and he's looked really good, really energetic.
It looks like Ash Taylor Bolden. I think he struggled at the start of the year. I think he came back early from the injury. So there's a bit of a, just kind of out there, not so much to make up the numbers, but more of like just guidance on the field. Now he's just, he's grabbed the reins again and he's going for it.
Well, if anyone knows me, they know I hate bragging. But I did mention it to Mitch like 3 weeks ago. But that's just, this is not me. I just wouldn't brag. But if I were to, I would say that I mentioned him.
No one was there, so no one knows it.
Picture it didn't happen, mate.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, well, okay, you don't like to brag. Well, that's a lie. And here's your chance. So, brag about, Herms. Who are you buying?
Well, I talked about earlier how, like, you know, the player of the week didn't get close to 100. Well, I'm bringing up the guy that is the only member of the 100 Club this year. Like my little segue there.
Way to take a risk there, mate.
Yeah.
But, yeah, oh, well, okay. There's not that many great options left anymore to bring in next week. I actually hate all the teams playing next week, and I wish I didn't have to bring in anyone for round 12. But you do. And if you're going to bring in someone, you bring in someone with a relatively low break even, still going to make you money, because you know you're just going to ship them off later anyway. Yeah, like I said, 1 more week to buy rounds. His lowest score of the year has been 29, but his highest, like I said, 100. He has that big game. What's the word I'm looking for? Ability? That's a good one.
Jinx.
Is that you don't have ability? Is that why you could say it?
Word.
Now that
You also said Jinx, so Jinx you.
He's got a mistap in it. Does that mean I have to drink? Yeah. He's got a missed tackle in him. He's done it twice, where he's missed about 8 tackles a game. He's got that, keep well sort of. I don't want to bring it up
What,
to
allergy to defense?
Allergy to defense, yes. But he's got an offload. He's got that break tackle in him as well. So he's got the capability of those big scores. I like him. If you don't already have Tolman or someone like that from the Bulldogs, I think he's a good choice to have there too.
He's not. To be honest, he's not someone I want to keep him on team. But if you do want to fill a couple spots in the second row, he's a good option. He's not going to break the bank. He will make a bit of money if you keep him there for a few weeks. So it is a good option going forward.
Yeah, I think the Dogs, are trending a little bit upwards. I think they've finally figured out their halves combination. As much as I hate it, because I love Lewis. But I think Cogger's been playing really well, and Foran, before he got injured, was really good too.
He was so good last week.
And he controlled the game pretty well. So I think his scores should actually start to slowly go up as they find that pairing. Because Cogger and Foran had never been together before at all. It was like a one-night stand for the first time. It was awkward, it was bumpy, like no one knew what was going on. But they're slowly going to build that chemistry, like where you start figuring out what people like and how to please them, and they're going to get there. They're going to get there.
What's our demographic for this show?
You know by now.
18 plus now, apparently.
Did you have a bad one night stand the other night, Red, or
It's
something?
sex ed. It's sex ed. Everyone's been there.
That's true.
Everyone's been there. It's a mandatory in school now.
Good to start early.
Anyway, so yeah, no, look, he has a chance, I think, to definitely go up. I think that he's definitely going to he has the opportunity to do well. And if you're not going to keep him, you've got the option that you could, if you really wanted to, if he does start to lift over the next couple of weeks as that combination gets better. I think he has the ability. Yeah. See how I just nailed that and just said the word ability.
Still the Segway King.
Nice. Yeah, cool.
Not that I like to brag.
No, not that you like to brag at all. So my buyer, you're talking about a half. I'm going to give you a half fullback option in Jack Whiten. We've actually had quite a few questions about this young man, whether to bring him in, whether to not. He'd been scoring tries, so we're constantly doubtful of what he could and couldn't do. He didn't score a try last week and still got 44. So he's shown that he has the ability. Now, the reason why I'm saying Jack Whiten, he does play round 12. He's a wing fullback option into the halves as well. He's 651k, but I think he's scoring 5 tries so far this year, averaging nearly 3 tackle busts a game. He has 8 forced dropouts, so it's 2 points per dropout, and his break even is 38. He's only averaging 46 over the entire season, but 53 over the last 3 weeks. So he's trending up as well. So he's getting better at his role, learning when to take a line, and he's learning when to pass. He finally got a try assist 2 weeks ago. He hadn't had one all year. Finally got that. So I think he's developing really nicely as a half, and I think he's a really good option that possibility to keep beyond round 12.
Well, the thing I like about him the most is he's actually developing that kicking game, like you said. I didn't know about the forced dropouts, but I looked at his stats last week, and the kick meters, he actually got more kick meters than his halfback.
Over 300.
Yeah, over
Sam
300.
Williams,
So
yeah.
Sam Williams. So I just think his kicking game's getting a lot better, and that's more base stats for someone who's got attacking mentality too.
Yeah.
Well, he was another one like Ponga. I was really sceptical on the start of the year, but as well as that, he can find the try line. He's a big body, and his whole game from fullback was running the ball just straight and strong. So when he's close to the line, if there's half a gap there, he's gonna pin his ears and he's gonna go for it. So
He's found it 5 times so far this year. Pretty good for a half to score 5 tries. So definitely a good running half option for me.
Well, that DPP as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things as well, because I think wing fullback heading into round 12 is quite tough. A lot of people got Teddy and they got Ponga, and then someone cheap like me who has Lomax. Like, there's always that one cheap dude in there with the 2 strength. I think he can really bulk up a lot of people's wing fullback.
Yeah, I like that one.
So now that's buys, and because we didn't screw it up, we get to talk about sells, like happy days. So, Alex, we're going to go with you.
Sure.
I hesitated, but I want to see if you can keep this not bragging thing up. You go.
I refuse. This week I'm going with bagging out the Sharks again. Jerry. It's 412k. I think he's sort of peaking a bit. He's still got a relatively low break even, which break 28. But his lowest score of the season has been 25, which isn't that low.
it's not too bad. It's not terrible. It's not 12.
Okay, well. But he's only gotten over 35 once. So in 7 games, he's got between 25 and 35, which isn't great. So he's sort of consistent in that area. Got that try last week, got 35. He's in 35% of teams, so he's in a lot of teams. He's not playing next week. That's the big thing here. If you got cover in the centres and you fit someone else in, someone like Ruben Garrick, I think you just can do it for this week because Ruben's going to play next week as well. Yeah, I know, but he's a goal kicker. So I just think I'm not going to make you much more money. If you need to, ship someone off, I think Jerry.
Well, I kind of led into that knowing because I read it right here. That whole not bragging thing. Do you have Bronson Jerry?
I do.
Oh, so you wouldn't want to brag about having to sell your own dude, right? He's a Sharks player. You've got him in your team. Are you selling him this
I'm
week?
selling him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was going to bring in Jack Whiten. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So you're not bragging.
But I'm going to have to play Ruben Garrick this week.
Yeah,
And I'm a little bit worried.
Is that your brag? Because that's not a brag.
That's not
No.
You can get there, mate. You'll be
It's 1 week.
No, definitely good sell. Anyone who is in that average points at that price, not playing round 12, has to be on everybody's mind to sell. If you've got, most teams probably have about 2 or 3 of those guys in there somewhere, you've got to be considering for sells this week and next week. No doubt.
He can have those good runs, but God, he can drop a ball. And you've
he's
got
got
Moylan
it.
coming back this week. He's in the 21. I think he can force his way into the team. I could drop any one of that back 5.
Yeah.
And
Well, to be fair, probably only person you're back 7 that's safe is Shed Townsend.
yeah,
You
he's
could go into the halves, go to fullback, you could Aaron Gray, or I'd say either Aaron Gray or Jerry will be the ones to make way.
Yeah, because they're not going to drop Dugan. I have no idea why. They should, but they won't do it because he's a $1 million player.
Got a good haircut.
Does have a sweet haircut.
So Mish, tell us about your sell then. Who you got?
I am personally not selling
I love
anyone
this
this week. I'm not. Look, I look at my team, and the players I want to sell play round 12, so I can't sell them. And the other players I can sell are the ones who are scoring big for my team and I don't want to sell. So I'm in a boat where I'm going to wait and see next week. You have 4 trades next week. So I think there's no point this week making a hasty decision and forcing something and then getting burned next week. So, with 4 trades next week, I'd rather sit on my team, save some trades, see where, the cards fall next week after the Origin splits come out.
I actually love that. If you have 17, well, was it 21 players and they're all playing, just sit on them for 1 more week and you got 4 trades next week, then you can have a bit of a play around. But I love the idea of no trades.
I like it.
It's false to the law. It's false to the
I'm
law.
skeptical, but I like it. It's like, when you see a UFO, that'd be cool.
Well, like Mitch, I agree with you. And I think great call, no trades.
Alright.
Don't sell anyone. If you have all your players.
I think, let's say that to everybody that if you do have quite a few players for round 12 already, then you may not need to. So if you only needed another 4, you've got the 4 trades next week.
Well, as it is at the moment, I'm looking at about 12 to 13 for next week as it is. So I'm probably only going to do 1 trade next week.
And we don't really know the teams. This is probably the most up in the air.
Yeah.
Both teams have been.
Really
I've seen one
contentious.
either side that has been really contentious, but never at the same time like this. Especially in the centres, no one knows what's going on there. And the back 5 for Queensland, besides Kalen Ponga, is pretty much.
I'm actually really, really excited. You think the Blues are going to wipe the floor with them?
I don't think
do.
so that close.
A team with DCE, Munster and Ponga.
The Mumbles again.
They're not going to be easy to beat.
D-Munga.
I think I'm calling clean sweep. I think that's
Nah,
a conversation for another time.
Are we doing bets again?
No,
No clean sweep.
there's really enough bets with
Yeah,
Mitch.
cool. Well, yeah, okay, no. Food for thought. Alex likes to say that. Definitely food for thought. Maybe wait, because Origin teams will be announced. So you're not wasting trades.
Yeah, Sunday
Yeah,
night
okay.
or Monday morning. Yeah.
Okay, alright. I like it. I'm actually selling someone, so I'm gonna talk about them. Talk about what? I'm selling. Carl Flanagan. Alex mentioned that Matt Moylan's in the 21 for the Sharks this week. Could easily find his way to half. I don't think so. I think they'd rather just get him straight to fullback. Because Dugan's been, oh my god, if anyone's got an error in him, it's him lately. And he looked horrible last week. He didn't have a good game at all. So I assume Carl Flanagan will be there this week. But Sean Johnson was expected to be back this week. So if he's not, he's almost got to be certain to be back week 14. So, because they're not playing next week, he'll definitely be back for their next game. And I think that's potentially why they've held him out. But I don't think holding on to Kyle Flanagan is going to do much because he's at 425k. Like, he's got a good average, but again, not playing around 12. So I think you just need to just get rid of him and start looking if your team's not ready. So if you're not Mitch ready, I think you need to start trading these guys out and getting in players who are playing around 12. Only if you're going for overall score. Head to head, do whatever you want. But yeah, if you're playing for round 12, definitely get him out.
I think that's the tricky part of this time of the year because we've got a lot of questions with people asking for good trades, and we're kind of trying to, I guess, steer people towards the round 12 guys. And you know, people say, "Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. It's mainly head to head for me." Well, you know, for us, it's always been overall score and you know, bragging rights between the three of us who gets that top score and never me. But yeah, it's obviously there's two different games there.
Definitely. So yeah, maybe weigh up your options, whichever one. If you're playing head to head, don't even listen to what I said about this. If you're playing for overall points, think about it. Brings us to the high risk segment of Pump the Brakes or Buyer Beware. And I'm going to start because I like doing it that way where I just start this segment. And I'm going with Buyer Beware again. Mine is Jake Granville. Now a lot of people might be tempted by this man, and let me tell you why. He's only 467k. He's got a break even of 24. He got 59 points last week. Sounds pretty good. Except for the fact that he's playing to be the Queensland hooker. With no Jake Friend, no McCulloch, no Cam Smith. They reckon he's the guy, if not Ben Hunt. So he's playing for that, and that's the reason why he's played good the last couple of weeks. And for the total of the season, he's only scored an average of 37 points. That's horrible for a hooker. A first choice hooker. And we can talk about people like Fainu from Manly, who's scoring 60s from the bench.
He's killing it.
That's a good hooker. There's much better options out there for round 12 if that's why you're thinking of bringing him in. Like, for example, Reed Marnie, Mitch Rain. These are great options.
Well, we've warned people before about just bringing in someone for the sake of buy round, just to trade them back out later. That's just not any way to play fantasy. And I, like you said before, I don't think he's even a good head-to-head player. So
no, he's just jumping all over the park. No offense, like, nice guy.
And I actually predict him, and we've done mock drafts of State of Origin teams before, and if we get time, we'll throw him down. Yeah. But I think he will be the starting hooker for Queensland. I do. I honestly do.
No. Really
I think he'll get it over Marnie. I think he'll get it over Hunt.
I think they'd be better off to play with no one.
You should do a paramedic, just put it forward there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good. Well, they got Josh McGuire who could play. He's played hooker before, actually, when he was at the Broncos, when McCulloch come off.
No, great.
He was quite good.
He's not a good fantasy player, but I think he's a solid hooker.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day.
He's on a very good forward package. It makes him look better.
We get sidetracked a lot.
We do. We love it. Yeah. But so that was my buy beware. Now, Mitch, why are you sipping? Who's your buy beware or pump the brakes?
Thank you, Red, for passing that over to me.
I like to do that.
Look, if he does go DPP, Nick Kotrick at centre, and he keeps up what he did last week, you better believe he's going to be in my team. But at the moment, he's in that Origin conversation. He's young, he's talented, and he has that just solid Origin mould about him. And I wouldn't at all be surprised if he's wearing sky blue on June 5th. But it's kind of, sorry, I should say, I'm doing a buyer beware on Nick Kotrick. You obviously might be going to Origin, unproven at centre. He had one game where he absolutely killed it, got 55 points with no tries, no try assists. That's pretty freaking good, actually. That's really good for someone playing out in that position. But obviously we don't know if there was a flash in the pan at centre. We don't know, you know. So that's why I'm waiting at least till he goes DPP. And yeah, maybe another 1 or 2 weeks out of him. See how he goes there before I make any rash decisions in that position.
I think he's right. He could be like the next Jack Bird in that centre position where he gets those high scores early in scoring and he tries. But you know, you got Leilua out for the season now. And I really like when Mitch mentioned him earlier in the week. I thought it was a really good buy. But yeah, maybe wait. Just one more week to see.
I think it's worth waiting a week because you see how he goes again in another game. And you'll know by then if he's playing for the Blues.
Alright, Alex, your last cab off the rank.
3 buy bewares this week.
Again.
I'm going by Ware as well.
It's the original, would you?
I'm going Matt Scott. Prop, pretty cheap, 500,000. Break even of 13. Scored 72 last week. Got that meaty. He was an absolute beast last week, but the average is only 45 minutes a game. Pretty low for a prop these days. They're actually getting to the those 55 to 70 minutes.
Tolman's a great
Tolman.
example of that.
I just think he still could make Origin. They need some older heads in there. But people might be tempted thinking he won't get Origin. People get gazy-eyed when they see those low break-evens after a big round. I just think, buyer beware. Matt Scott is playing round 12, so people might be tempted. No, don't bother.
No. Wouldn't even get near
He's
him.
not consistent, especially those minutes. I think with a prop these days, you need to just bring in props that are playing at least 60 minutes.
Oh, definitely. And I think if
12.
Yeah, 12. Even his partner in front, Jordan McLean, he's playing big minutes and he's consistently scoring well this year. So if you do want, Tama's a great example too. Well, there's plenty of them out there, but I think definitely hold off on him.
Another player again that Origin contention, and they were the ones who developed the pick and stick type thing, and he's been there for a long time. Do they want the old head? But it seems like he's playing for an Origin spot. And it just seems to be consistent.
He was helped last week by a try, so it's going to boost his score.
He got close to 50 a week before too, which is like another reason people might be thinking, he's going to get these consistent high scores, but I don't think he's got consistency in him.
As well as that, the last 2 weeks Josh Maguire hasn't played either.
Yeah, true. So when he comes back, could change things up as well. Good point.
And he's been scoring in the 50s, Josh Maguire. So with him and Tamalo in the squad, less dependency on. Oh my god.
I'm just preparing myself.
Are you in like one of those super funds?
I just want to make sure I get it right because I know he doesn't.
Okay.
And
So you're trying to brag. Oh, you wouldn't want to brag or anything. And that wraps up Wall Street. So horrible. I hate doing it. Oh, I hate it now. It sucks. You've ruined it for me. I used to enjoy my little thing, my little.
It was just a bonding thing.
Nah, you killed it. You dragged me down with you.
So moving on from Wall Street, and we'll go to the injury report. Mitch, who's injured this week?
It's actually, in comparison to the last 2 weeks, short, only 5 people, and only 4 of them are relevant. So we start off with Ockenbaugh. Unfortunately, a lot of people brought him in as a cash cow at the start of the year, as well as his, DPP and round 12 cover. He's going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. Sorry, Red.
That's alright. And he started finally getting good. The guy was scoring well all of a sudden. Typical.
Let it out. Safe space.
It's not everybody's watching.
Pretend like the camera's not on. The red light doesn't mean anything. That's off.
Oh, thank God.
So that's why we're all in our underpants.
Next one is Brad Abbey from the Canberra. Unfortunately,
Can I ask who?
A promising young player. Unfortunately, done his ACL. He's out for the season.
Oh,
Good bit.
feel pretty bad about that now. My condolences.
Ben Hampton, 12 to 6 weeks, bicep injury. Tepai Maroa, concussion, so he's going to miss a week. And Lachlan Lamb, 4 to 6 weeks of a broken wrist.
That's devastating to him because he was going to be, if Kiri went to Origin, he was definitely coming in. And he's the Cronk successor now that he's announced the retirement. He was definitely going to be, it would have been a perfect opportunity to learn from one of the best sevens in the game. That's horrible. And what's with the Cowboys and biceps? JT did it. Morgan's always been wearing the brace on his bicep for a while now.
Like Herms, every day's arm day.
Yeah, good call.
See, what did I say before about
Not bragging?
No, not bragging.
Oh.
Segues.
Oh,
I got a
segues.
good one for that later.
Oh my god.
So stay tuned.
Biceps?
So that's injury report. Let's move on to Q&A.
Oh, what have we got this week?
I hate these things. What? But I like the prep. Just
do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. I don't like telling you what it is. Keep them on their toes. I'm just going to do one question this week. And it's pretty just vague. From Legit MC, in the comment section of YouTube. He said, would love a captain option. Now, obviously, there's, your basics. There's Cook, there's Cam. I'm guessing he means who else is out there right now to fill that captain spot?
Well, there's a couple obvious ones. I'll leave a few for Red, but from my team anyway.
Thanks, buddy.
Payne Haas and Tumalo instantly spring to mind.
Yeah, sure. Especially Tamalolo playing 80 minutes last week.
Ooh.
If he continues to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who have picked Cam Munster, so as I like to call him, Cam Money. He's been killing it lately. Cameron Polly's been killing it. Even Cam Murray.
Yeah.
He's been looking really good. I know he's going to Origin, but probably going to Origin. But he's looked really, really good at that lock spot. He's been scoring high 60s into the 70s every week. That's pretty solid.
Fafita's another one, like looking. He's been an obvious one, but even when he was injured this week, he still got 70. It's like ridiculous.
You definitely wouldn't tell anybody not to have him as captain.
I told one guy, I'm like, maybe don't make Fafita captain last week. And then
Do you want to apologise to him now?
Well, I don't think he actually went down for a tackle. I think he either just offloaded.
No, he did. He at least took one.
Okay.
It was nice.
He just wanted to
really
keep
good.
offloading. He just wanted to break records.
That's great.
All right, so that is the Q&A for this week.
Wait, what about you? Who would you as a captain?
We took them all.
Took them all.
Took them all. I had nothing left.
There's no one left?
There's no one left.
No one left.
They're your
What
best
about
options.
Teddy? Oh, wait, no, you said to sell him.
No, we can't captain
Can't be
someone.
him.
Yeah, funny. All right. He's been playing well. I get it. I'm off done. But next week, that's a big question for
Yeah, that's the big one, I think. Because all the players we mentioned, so Cook, Cam, Fafita, not playing, Payne Haas not playing, all these primo guys who are scoring in the 80s, it's not even 100, not playing.
Could be Cam Murray if he doesn't go to Origin.
Surely he's got to go.
You'd think
If Bellin's not there, he's got to be.
Boys, save this for next week.
Oh,
This
sorry.
is a whole topic.
Oh, okay. Stay tuned. Watch this space.
Right, we just told you.
Now, I should say, because we're going to do the league update, we muffed up last week. I muffed up last week.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I can't read or do math. So, I named the wrong guy as the top scorer of the week. He called me out in the comments. I'm apologising right now. The team is...
Don't look down there and apologise. It's right there, mate. It's right there.
I'm sorry. 2 lightning shocks from last week. He was the actual NRL Fantasy Guru leader of the week with 1,016. So I apologise to
Well
you.
done, mate.
Lightning shocks, well done. And
Killed
sorry
it.
to the other guy who I've just taken that award away from.
We have awards?
Yeah, I sent them gift baskets.
Nice.
Remember?
Nice.
Yeah.
Someone's definitely going to ask you the gift basket is now.
I haven't received my gift basket. It's coming. It's coming. So this week, segue, the league leader of this week, or last week, round 10. I like to call myself this in the gym. GAINZ God. GAINZ God got 1050, and I didn't really segue it that well.
How about those
We were talking about
GAINZ?
biceps before and GAINZ God.
Yeah,
You
no,
didn't-
that
you
sucks.
didn't even use the segue.
We're sorry to ruin your moment.
We're sorry to ruin your day with that. Like, that's horrible.
So from one GAINZ God to another, well done on getting 10 to 50.
Oh, not that he likes to brag. Good loser.
I'd also, side note, congratulations to Red for joining the 1,000 Club this year. Last
There
year.
we go.
There you go. Okay. Good on ya.
Fuck you, I beat you.
And
You should have played for Fafita, douchebag.
I want to talk about it. And for holding the lead, we'll give it to Quasi, still number 1 in the NRL Fantasy Guru League. So well done to you two, holding that number 1 spot.
What, you're coming for him?
It's a slow burner. It's a slow burner. I'm still coming. Just take my time.
You should take some steroids. You'd get gains a lot faster,
Oh, thanks, mate.
and you'd probably be a bit more hyped up for this.
Actually, peptides. That's your thing.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a
too
shot.
true,
Yeah.
too true. Good call, good
Thank you.
call. Or tranquilizers.
I'll call up my mate Gal and
Yeah.
get some of him.
Do you train?
Alright, so now we'll wrap it up. What can they do, Mitch, as always?
Like, subscribe, comment, keep the feedback coming. We love it.
Yeah, we love it. And thank you guys for watching.
Subscribe.